Here's something I wish somebody told me before I started content creation. The platform you choose isn't just a preference. It's a decision that will either work with you or against you every single day you try to build your online presence. I learned this the hard way because I spent years building on the wrong platform. Right now, I am more or less active on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, all at the same time, with YouTube being my main focus. And to be fair, I didn't plan it that way. I just wanted to feel the difference for myself. And what I've noticed is that I've pretty much spent a lot of time and energy onto the wrong platform. Most creators choose a platform because that's where their friends are, or that's where they think the algorithm is the easiest, or plain and simple, that's where they see other people blow up. And most of them also end up 6 months later wondering why this isn't working for them. So today I want to give you 4 factors that helped me before I started, because figuring this out before you even begin is going to save you an enormous amount of time and energy. What I want to give you today is a guide of sorts, something that you can actually use to make this decision for yourself instead of just jumping into the deep end and hoping it works. Because honestly, it might not. And you deserve better than that, bestie. So, 4 factors. Let's go. Factor number 1 is your personality and your style. Allow me to tell you how I ended up on YouTube. I've been using it every day for years because YouTube clicked with me in a way that no other social media platform did. It gave me exactly what I needed, whether it was entertainment, information, or just the feeling that there is somebody out there who actually gets what I'm going through. For the longest time, I thought I was just a simple YouTube consumer. And now, looking back at it, I realized it was actually telling me something really important about the type of content that I naturally consume and make now. YouTube rewards depth. It rewards nuance. It rewards the kind of storytelling that actually takes you out on a journey rather than being hit with something in your face for 3 seconds and moving on. And don't get me wrong, I love me some short type of content, but my inner self always seems to have craved more. And if you relate to this, I truly believe that YouTube might be the right place for you. TikTok, on the other hand, requires a completely different approach. It rewards trend awareness, fast responses, and the ability to hook someone before they've even realized it. So, naturally, if you're quick, reactive, and culturally tuned, or how I like to call it, chronically online, then place your bet on TikTok. And Twitch? Well, Twitch rewards personality above anything else. Pure, unfiltered you for hours at a time. However, unfortunately, Twitch on its own is not enough unless you hit a jackpot. I'll talk more about why later in the video. Bottom line is that none of these platforms is better than the other. They're all great in their own respective areas. The thing is, they just need different creative approaches. The question here isn't which platform is the best. It's which one matches who you are. And that brings us to factor number 2, because knowing what type of content you want to create is just the beginning of it. Factor 2 is your demographic. And allow me to be a bit more specific here. I'm not just talking about who your audience is in theory, but where do those people actually spend their time in reality? Here's something I've seen happen to creators with amazing content. They post consistently, they put in the work, and yet they see no results. And that's not because the content they're making is bad. It's purely because the audience they are trying to reach simply does not exist on the platform that they chose. This means that you can make the perfect content on the wrong platform and it will probably fail every single time. TikTok skews young. If your target audience is, let's say, between 16 and 22 years old, then that's probably where they live. Or YouTube Shorts. But if you're trying to reach people in their mid-20s or 30s who navigate things like career changes or relationships or burnout, big life decisions, you name it, then I truly believe that YouTube is the place they go to. Instagram sits somewhere in between, leaning towards fashion, lifestyle, food, blogging for a younger professional crowd. However, I don't use Instagram enough to talk in depth about it, so I'll leave it at that. Personally, the people I'm trying to reach are probably in their mid-20s or 30s. They're figuring out things in their life, and they're probably looking for something more honest rather than polished. People like me who once believed that, they're just simply not good enough to do this. People that have been told throughout their lives that the one thing that they want to pursue in their life is not right for them. Those people were always on YouTube, which is why this choice wasn't just a personality match for me, it was also a demographic match. My advice: before you commit, practice this simple exercise. Consume content on the platform you are interested in from the perspective of your ideal target audience. If you find your people there, then you've pretty much found yourself an answer. But keep in mind that even if the personality fits or if the demographic is there is still a third factor that can completely undermine the other two if you choose to ignore it. Factor 3 is discoverability, and that's because every platform has a specific mechanism for how viewers find your content. And understanding that mechanism before you even start is not an option, because it's what makes a difference between building something that works or just completely shouting into a void. YouTube has search and browse features. People simply type something in the search bar and your video might pop up. Or perhaps the algorithm god decides to put your video on somebody else's homepage because it thought that what you're making resonates with them. Either way, strangers can find you out of nowhere without you doing anything except making good content and setting up your channel properly. TikTok has the For You page, which is probably the most advanced discovery algorithm in social media right now. One video can reach millions of people who have never heard of you if it hits the right signals at the right time. And then there's Twitch. And you'll have to believe me on this because I've lived through it. I streamed on Twitch for years, and I even reached Twitch partnership. And I can tell you from direct experience that Twitch has no native discoverability for small creators. If you're not coming from somewhere else like YouTube or TikTok, or you're not famous already, the chances of a stranger stumbling across our channel and actually staying are very low. I like to call Twitch a destination platform, not a discovery platform. And I don't necessarily mean that as a criticism to Twitch. I believe it's an incredible platform after all. It's the platform that made me discover my love for content creation. But yeah, it's just a reality that I refused to admit for years. You can have the right personality, the right demographic, the right style of content figured out and still fail. And that is because factor number 4, which I'm going to frame as more of a question that you can ask yourself. What are you actually willing to consistently do for the upcoming year or two? I avoided starting YouTube for a long time, years at least. I somehow knew it was the right platform for me. I knew my demographic was there. I knew the discoverability was good, and I still avoided it. Why? I did not want to edit. That's it. That's the whole reason. Editing felt so overwhelming that I refused to do it. So I stayed on Twitch, where I could just press start streaming and do my thing. But then I was also sitting there wondering why things are not growing the way that I want them to. My point is, the best platform for you is not the one with the most users or the easiest algorithm or the highest ad revenue. It's the one where the required workflow matches what you're genuinely willing to sustain because, motivation runs out. I need you, I beg you, I need you to be very honest with yourself before you start this, because the platform that you choose is also the workflow that you're choosing, and that workflow has to match your actual life. So, now that we've discussed everything, which platform should you actually start on? Run it through the 4 factors. Does the content style that you want to create match how your creative brain works? Is your demographic there? Does the platform have a discoverability mechanism that can bring you new viewers without you being already famous? And can you also sustain this when it stops feeling exciting and it starts feeling like actual work? For me, YouTube hit all 4. It isn't because I planned it or because I'm naturally a YouTube person, but because when I finally stopped avoiding the editing and actually sat down and thought about where I belong, it truly felt as if it was the only answer for me. You might run through these 4 factors and land somewhere completely different. And that's the whole point of this video. This isn't about YouTube being the right answer. It's about you finding the right answer before you even commit yourself to the wrong platform. I started this channel around 5 weeks ago with no audience and honestly no real plan other than be honest about things that I learned or things that I'm going through. And in those 5 weeks, something clicked that never clicked with me in years of streaming. And God, do I love it. I absolutely love being able to wake up in the morning feeling excited about what ideas I might get or how can I share them with you. And that brings me to my final point. There is enough room on the internet for you, and there is an entire audience waiting for you. You literally just have to figure out how to help it find you. This being said, if you don't know where to start, I really hope this gets you even a bit more of a clearer vision. And if you already started somewhere and somehow it just doesn't feel right, trust me when I say this, bestie, it is never too late to take a step back and go back to the drawing board. Because nobody, and I repeat, nobody is born having all the answers. Next week, I'll be talking about something that I'm pretty sure a lot of you can relate to. The moment you realize that the people closest to you may never be your biggest cheerleaders. And what can you do about it? So, this being said, until next week, stay awesome, besties.